You see, that's your problem, my friend. You're lukewarm. You haven't been going all the way, but now it's time. It's time to go all in. On the spiritual path, that is. You see, one of my greatest mistakes on the spiritual journey is not going all the way. And what happens is that you get stuck in this really nasty middle ground between being worldly and being spiritual. And I call this purgatory. It's just a very bland, unfavorable state of being. And what happens is that, well, you're kind of pissed off because you spent all this time on the spiritual journey and you've kind of put all the worldly success on the back burner for a moment. So you might be broke, you might not have the worldly desires that you want, but you haven't gone far enough on the spiritual path to really bask in the spiritual inner riches. So you put all this time and your effort on this journey and you got nothing to show for it. Good job. But it's only because you may have been on the fence. A part of us wants to keep our worldliness. A part of us doesn't want to let go of our attachments. Or rather, I should say, a part of us continues to hold on to these things that no longer serve us. But you have to break through on the spiritual path. You have to get to that point where you become free from the Earth's atmosphere. It's like a rocket. It takes a lot of energy at first, but as you continue to climb, it becomes easier and easier, and eventually you break free into outer space. And you see, once you are free, then you can go back to the world and do all of your worldly things, and you will be 1,000 times, no, 1,000,000 times more efficient and effective than everybody else. Or at least than you were before. Because normally, when life isn't going the way that people want it to go, they get frustrated, they get stressed out, they get irritated at things, they get angry, they get upset. And all of these things are distractions from the goal, from your desired outcome. But as you dive deeper within yourself on this spiritual journey, you become unaffected by all of your experiences and remain at peace all the time. You're not so personally involved in all your experiences. You're not caught in the drama of it all. It's as if there was a storm, but you have become the eye of the storm that is still and unmoving and unaffected. And this provides you great resilience in your worldly pursuits. It's as if you are wearing the armor of God. Nothing can hurt you, nothing can affect you. You are immovable. And you know intuitively that you have the power to create any life that you desire, regardless of your external circumstances. But when you identify with this little person, this ego, you are an extremely limited thing. And this limited thing is insecure because of its limitations. Which means that you will have doubt, you will have fear, you will say, oh, well, what's the point of even doing any of this? You have no power, you have no juice. And on this spiritual journey, as you dive deeper, you start diving into your power. You become more and more confident in your abilities, and you become more and more competent because you tap into the source of harmony itself. Whereas if you notice that most people, whenever they try to deal with a problem or to solve something or to handle any situation in life, almost always they create a few more problems along the way for themselves. It's like in the movie Monster Inc., where there was this janitor, and this janitor was a slug. And he was cleaning up the mess, but as he cleaned up the mess and moved on, he was leaving behind another trail of slime. And this is what everybody is doing in the world. With every problem they solve, they create 3 or 4 more problems that are oftentimes worse than the original problem. Another way of putting it is that there is a rhythm to life. There is a flow. And when you are very worldly, or as I say, when you're caught in the illusion of being a person, there is a tendency to move too quickly so you're offbeat, or to move too slowly so you're offbeat. So you're out of flow with the harmony of life, and so therefore problems begin to emerge. Because a problem, by definition, is the absence of harmony. And when you tap into the very source of harmony that you are, the problems magically begin disappearing. In fact, you don't even recognize that problems exist. The word just simply vanishes from your dictionary. Now, the same kind of experiences might still arise, but you're not labeling them as problems. Because think about the psychological drama that occurs when you label something as a problem. Oh, well, I gotta do something about it. If I don't fix this, then something bad might happen. And then you're worrying about it, and then you're stressed out about it. And all of these things are having not only psychological effects, but physical, emotional effects, and cripple you. They cripple your ability to do anything about the problem. And yet, as you dive deeper on the spiritual journey, you begin to stop labeling things as problems or as mistakes, and you begin just enjoying the show. Sometimes the lows are even more fun than the highs. And what you come to know intuitively, or even from experience, is that life takes care of life. That you don't need to put yourself in the middle of everything and try to solve all the problems and deal with all the different things. Just stop it. Get some help. Let life do its thing and stop getting in the way. You don't think God knows how to do God's job? Where was God before you came along to deal with all the problems of the world? Whether it's money, whether it's relationships, just let it be for right now. And know that everything that is meant for you will come to you in time. But first, you more than likely need to be shaped in a certain kind of way in order to receive the blessings that you have asked for. And this will not come in a way that the ego likes. And if you have not gone all the way on the spiritual path, you will get frustrated and irritated that life isn't going the way you want it to. Because you have failed to recognize that everything is perfect as it is. And that everything that you are going through is exactly what you need for your highest spiritual growth. And also to bring you the things that you have asked for. You see, what is keeping you from all of your blessings is your resistance to life. Because in the resistance comes fear, comes worry, comes concern and doubt, and all the negative feelings, negative thoughts. And this keeps you in a negative state of being. And the more and more you let go, and you stop worrying about it all, you realize that it's always working out, that God is doing exactly what God needs to do. And God also knows all the things that you desire better than even you. Now you remove the limiting things that have been keeping you in a low frequency, and there you go. Look at that. You start rising higher and higher until eventually you die and you turn into a soul and you just return to heaven. The point is, it's very difficult to understand this if you have not gone far enough on the spiritual path. Because the ego's whole game is power and control. It wants to control every aspect of its life and force and bend reality to its will. And the longer we have been feeding this ego identity, the stronger it will be. So it will not allow us to surrender and allow and to let go. It will say, no, life is unacceptable. I need to do something about it. I need to fix these problems. I made a mistake. I'm such a bad person. What do I do now? You do nothing. You will do nothing. The majority of all of our problems are relieved the moment you get out of the way. You let go and you let God. Because the mind creates resistance to the flow of life. And if you want the maximum flow of life, you need the least amount of resistance. That is why the spiritual path is all about surrender. It is the path of least resistance. But you see, what people get wrong about this is that they stay stuck halfway. You cannot be worldly and still embark on the path of least resistance, because then you become lazy, you become useless. You're just a weak little ego that serves no purpose. But if you go all the way on the spiritual path, you go all the way on the path of least resistance, that leads you to enlightenment. That leads you to freedom. And that leads you to ultimate power. So don't live a lukewarm life. Go all in. And if you need any help, just reach out to me. I'm here, in the YouTube land, in the ether. Just say my name 3 times, and I will be there. In your dreams, in your thoughts, I am Ray, and my existence knows no bounds, no limitations. Much peace and many blessings.